So hello, my name's Rob and this is Cattle Rabbit Scale Model Studios, and in this video JoyToy have kindly sent me this squad of Blood Angels Assault Terminators to show off to you all. There is going to be a few things just before we get started that follows this, being with a chance to win these. I'll tell you all at the end of the video. Really lovely models, can't wait to show them off. I know a little bit about Blood Angels but not a lot, and this squad obviously does follow the Terminator model kit pretty closely. As always, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But starting with the Sgt Santoro. This is a big, bulky, beefy figure. Obviously being a Terminator, I do think they've captured the scale pretty well. They're kind of like top heavy walking tanks. But I do have just a few niggles with this squad, which I will go over. It's very minor, but I will go through it. As you can see, this guy, he doesn't actually come with anything. Not the end of the world, considering, you know, it's a Terminator. They're a little bit bigger than your standard figure. But as we get him out here, you can see that he doesn't even come with a helmet option, which is a shame. I would have liked that. However, the head is literally a one-for-one replica of what comes in the Assault squad for the Blood Angels on the smaller scale. As you can see here, a few little bent claws, no problem, just a little bit of hot water and that'll soon straighten out. But that's all there is. These guys are fairly basic, and I'm going to get to my niggle with this squad after 2 or 3 more figures. But once again, the detail is always fantastic. Always has been on JoyToy. They never seem to disappoint. I'm not sure how I feel about the painting on the head, but I suppose it does the job good enough. And you know, I don't know whether, you know, Blood Angels are supposed to be kind of fairly plain Jane, but you know, it's good enough. But I would have liked the helmet option for this guy. Then we moved to Brother Nacio. Once again, really like cool, big, beefy Terminators, as they all are. The posing's cool, the iconography's cool, the heraldry's cool, but once again, you don't get a lot with this. Once again, there's no other hand options because there can't be, because he's got the thunder claws, which obviously does restrict what you get in the box. So it might not feel that these first 3, you get a lot of bang for your buck. And that ultimately is my kind of gripe with them. It's the detail, you know, especially on this Thunderclaw here. I mean, look at that, it's absolutely fantastic. The Crux Terminatus, you know, all the tubing. This guy's got the fancy little leg wrap that they have on the scale model kit, even down to the heraldry on the top plate of the Terminator himself. The head fully articulated. Just a really nice thing to have, especially if Blood Angels is your jam. And you know, Terminators, once again, I've said this ages ago in my conversion video, Terminators pretty much one of the most iconic and enduring Space Marine units there is. Recognised the world over and pretty formidable on the tabletop. As you can see, lovely detail again, but not much to the box itself. Then finally we come to Brother Tyra, I'm not too sure. And this is the 3rd figure. Once again, Thunderclaws. There are no options. However, you know, I like the posing on this one. He's got the cool big black wings with the blood droplets in and things like that. And, you know, you've got the beefy stature of Terminators. Now, my gripe with these first 3, especially these first 2 kind of like brother figures, is that really there's not much to them. Now, I know that's because, you know, they are kitted out with Thunderclaws like the squad is. However, I don't know, to me they're a little bit samey. When I was actually recording this, I had to have the names next to me because they were so similar. I kept getting them confused with which one was which. It's just a shame there wasn't maybe an option to remove the claws, or even just have one for, you know, have a helmetless option. Would have been nice. However, you know, if Blood Angels are your thing, then you're probably not going to see much wrong with these. And I do know very little about them, so look, I might be missing something here. Once again, the detail is really good. They've got all the little dangly bits and everything like that, and they do look great, especially on the shelf. However, that's my only gripe, is that these first 3, because they're kitted out the same, they're kind of restricted to what they can have with them. However, things do open up with the next one. Now, this is Brother Davinos, probably my favourite from the set. Don't get me wrong, I'm a sucker for the icon bearers, but this guy is really cool. Down to the detail on the shield and the hammer, it's staggering how well replicated they have done the scale model kit into an actual figure. And I'll try and pop some pictures up on screen now, just so you can see that literally the detail on the shield is just one for one. Here he is. Obviously we get a bit more with this guy, and this is kind of what I expect from JoyToy. A couple of hand options, always nice. So you can have the hammer kind of leaning at a bit of an angle. So if you want him to kind of have like a little bit of a drop down wary look, change the hands, really, really good. An interesting tidbit here, that the Thunder Hammer is actually part of the model. You can just pull that little lead out if you want to, but obviously the Thunder Hammer's always plugged in. The detail on it is fantastic. Maybe I'm a sucker for a tabard, I don't know, but all the iconography on this guy, the tilt plates, the little droplets, it's all there. I really, really like this one. And probably if I was going to keep one for myself, it was definitely be this guy. There's just a lot of options for him, and you can pose him in some pretty cool ways. Once again, the detail on that hammer, absolutely stunning. Never ceases to disappoint when they do their weapons. Then as we move on to the shield, and once again I will just pop up a little picture of the said shield, just for detail, and the finish on this is really, really impressive. Even down to the back with the way the little power conduits emerge from the handle and stuff like that. I love the way JoyToy replicates the small scale onto, you know, these bigger figures. They really do take a lot of time and a lot of care to do them. I've heard some people complain about the paint jobs and things like that, but I guess that's a little bit subjective. These are still great figures to have, especially if you're a Blood Angels fan. So this one I would strongly recommend. And then if you're a sucker for a banner, it's going to be this guy. This is Brother Leonid. The banners, JoyToy always do standout banners. From the heraldry, from the Crimson Slaughter to the Grey Knights one, the banners that JoyToy do are just so well done. I can't say enough good things about them, and the quality is always really, really good. Once again, this is another good buy if you're into Blood Angels and you want one of the Terminators, because he comes with a little bit of everything. So you get your beefy Terminator, which is obviously a win-win. All the heraldry on it, he's got the cool black wings with the blood drop on, you know, it's all there. Even down to his little back plate with his little blood drops. He does come with an attached Thunder Hammer, although you can just pull that cable out if you want to. I don't know why you want to, but you could if you wanted to maybe have him two-handling the banner, being a bit of an ancient. Once again, the detail, fantastic. I don't think this one's got as long as a handle as the previous one, but this one isn't really about the weapon. This is more about the banner. And as you can see, the detail on this, and it does require a little bit of an assembly job here, but it's actually, once again I'll pop it up on screen, how accurate the banner is to the scale kit, I think is just something that they've done really, really well. It all slots together really nice and easy. Where this one had been transferred, it's warped a little bit, so I probably need to pop a little bit of a hairdryer on it so the banner sits a lot more flatter against the pole. Soak in some shallow hot water or just a little bit of a hairdryer on that will make it drop, no problem whatsoever. But just the way it's been replicated is just, it's lost for words as always. They're just really, really lovely. And if you are a Blood Angels fan and you wanted something on the tabletop or something on your desk just to kind of be with you, you could go a lot worse than one of these. I'll put them on the spinny thing and we'll have a look at them. And I am just going to carry on yapping for a minute. Now, JoyToy I've been working with now for a little while. I love their stuff. I said from my first video, you know, growing up, I loved action figures. That was always my jam. So having my favourite Warhammer figure on the desk sitting next to me is something that, I don't know, I just kind of enjoy. However, they have sent me a few now, and I find that I'm having to put some back in boxes and they're just sitting under my desk, which is a shame. I've given them away to friends and family, a few odd ones. However, there's only, you know, so many, you know, nans in the world that want a Blood Angels Terminator. So what I figured I would do to kind of help me out, because kit bashing and things like that and buying bits for the channel does take its toll. I do have a Patreon, and you're not going to get any preferential treatment because I'm a firm believer that knowledge should be free. It's very, I think it's about £3 to support me on Patreon, and I think I get about £2.50 of that after fees a month. What I am going to start doing is people that are subscribed to my Patreon, maybe once a month, twice a month, depending how much stuff I've got to give away, because I would rather these things be enjoyed by people. I'm going to start doing giveaways on my Patreon to my supporters. I will be doing some little recipe cards and things like that, but ultimately it acts as a bit of a tip jar for myself, and, you know, just helps fund any future projects. I earn very little in the way of revenue from YouTube. I'm never really worried about saying, but I think I've been monetized since March, and I've earned about £250 in total, which is paid out in dribs and drabs. Obviously kits, especially Warhammer, as we all know, they're not that cheap, especially when you're buying lots of bits and things off eBay. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'll probably start it from September. So I'll leave a link to my Patreon below. I'll leave more pictures of these on my Instagram, where you can follow me as well. But there they are, Blood Angels Terminators. Stay tuned, I've got Celestine coming, St. Celestine, but that's in a couple of weeks. But that's it from me in this one. I'll see you all next time. God bless and take care.